How's it going, everybody? My name is Lauren Meese and I am an Ohio Realtor in Cincinnati, Ohio. And today we're just going to be talking a little bit how I passed my real estate exam on the first try, and maybe I can give a little bit of tips to you, or maybe you can help out someone who's going through it in the process, okay? So I by no means consider myself a good test taker. I'm probably one of the worst at it. Like when I was in college, my neck would break out and I would just be really nervous. And I think it's because I was really good at second guessing myself. I could study material great, but I'm really good at talking myself out of the right answer sometimes. So maybe if you're someone like that, or if you just want some tips how I pass, keep watching. So my first tip is to get through classes as quickly as possible. Okay, and the reason that I say that is because I didn't understand it at first either, is basically the market is booming right now. Things are going great for real estate agents. You want to get out there and get yourself marketed as quickly as possible, especially while the going is hot, you know what I mean? So I didn't understand this first because I was like, I need to know all this information. I need to go slow. I need to make sure I understand it, which is great. You do want to still understand all your information, but a lot of the information is repeated 2-3 times. And or if you're in Ohio, you have to wait for a background check. So you'll have at least like a month from when you finish your classes until you actually take your test, so you can study a little bit more if you don't feel comfortable on certain topics. This is just kind of an important sidebar. If you have the option to take the courses on like in the classroom, do it. In-class exposure is probably always more helpful. I didn't have that option because of COVID. I just kind of went through the slideshows and just got through it. But if I had someone talking to me and like reinforcing that information in my head, I bet it would have been a lot easier on my studying. So if you already have a brokerage, go ahead and start going into the office if they allow it. Get involved in those conversations with your team, and you can pick up information along the way, so then you have like a head start ahead of your competition that's graduating kind of the same time as you are, because you're already ready. You've already heard some of the beginning steps and you've already started to kind of brand yourself. The second tip for me is pay attention to the slideshows or the resources that they give you. Like I said, a lot of the things are repeated 2-3 times over. So those important points, you got to really write them down, star them, underline them, whatever it takes to make sure you know those things, because those are probably going to be your most tested items. If you are someone who took it online, do not use your notes on the quizzes, like the in-between chapter quizzes, on the exams. I know it's tempting. Do not do it. You might not have someone monitoring you, but don't do it, because that just means that you're shortchanging yourself and you may not know the actual information. So when it comes time for the test, like the real test, you might be at a disadvantage. You're like, oh yeah, I knew that I did great on this exam, and you might not have studied it. And then you're like, oh man, I don't know this anymore. So do not do it. My next tip is to take the reviewer Kramer course that your institution may offer. So what mine looked like is we had a practice test in the morning, like a full-length practice test. It was graded, and we kind of followed along with the teacher to grade our own sheet. Okay, and basically that helped me the most out of anything, because there's a teacher actually there helping you. They're explaining each and every question, and they're also giving you kind of some better tips along the way. Like ones that I was given were, let's say you see property taxes. Almost always property taxes is the right answer. Or if you're between two answers, maybe it's probably the longer one that is on there. So basically get in there, get whatever information you can, and you're actually allowed to take it more than once. So what I would suggest is if you are going to take it more than once, do it, but always make sure that there's one within the 7 days before you take your test. And if you're only taking it once, take it within 7 days of you taking your test, because it'll tell you which things you don't know yet. Me into my next point, which is do not wait till the last minute to study for this test. Okay, this is not a test that you can like leave to the last minute and pick it all up on the next day. It's like maybe you have bought a home before, or maybe you have been a loan officer or in the business somewhere else, and maybe you know a little bit more than other people, but I would still not wait till the last minute to study for this test. When I was studying going into this, I had thought that the national test was going to be so much harder than the Ohio test. When I did my Kramer course, I was kind of the same way. I scored much better on my state test than on my national. When I actually went to take it, the national was much easier than the state test for me. So it will vary because there's different questions people get, different people study different things, you know, but I would still not wait till the last minute to study for this test. Okay, make the time, even if it's an hour, 2 hours in your day, do it. Another one of the main important free resources you can use is right here at YouTube. Okay, so you can just search up maybe commonly used real estate exam questions or commonly used vocab words on the real estate exam. That stuff helped me so much during it, and some of the same questions ended up actually being on my test. Okay, and that's valuable. That's valuable. Those are points that you can just easily be like, yep, know it, give me that percentage, okay? And it doesn't even have to be for vocab or questions for the exact test. I would say even start using YouTube right now to help kind of grow your brand. Watch those videos to get tips and tricks on how to start out as a new agent, because like I said earlier, that'll give you a little bit of jump on your competitors when you first start. So for this tip, we're actually going straight to the source. And that's PSI, they're the ones that make the test, and we're actually gonna buy questions from them. They offer a couple different packages. There's one that you can buy for get 80 questions and do practice tests. There's another one that you can do 500 questions. I bought that one, I got a deal on it because they were doing a special. It helped a lot too, because those questions are also on the test, because they have like a couple thousand questions that they might pull. Here's 500 of those. Okay, basically is what it is. So there's no reason, unless you can't afford it, which I understand, but if you have a little bit of extra money, there's no reason why you shouldn't get this, because it's from the people that make the actual test, and you'll get a lot more of the verbiage that they might use. And lastly, this is probably the most important thing that helped me pass my test, being the chronic overthinker I am, the test anxiety that I have, and that's do something to help de-stress yourself on the day of, okay? I went to IHOP by myself, and I sat in a booth, got my favorite meal from there, was watching home decorating videos, I think. Just something to not think about the test. Don't cram on that day. It's not gonna help you. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. Make sure you eat. I know I'm a better test taker in the afternoon, so I scheduled mine for around noon. And then if you're a better test taker in the morning, do it right in the morning, so then you don't have to overthink and constantly think about it throughout your day. Here's just a couple of things that you could do. Let's see, get a hot shower, go pet a dog, go for a walk, do some yoga, meditate, listen to some music, maybe the stuff that calms you down, whatever that is for you. I know that's very different for very different people. Just do things that make you feel good before you go in. Do things that make you feel confident before you go in. Hype yourself up. Do some self-talk in a mirror if you have to. Write down all the things that you're good at. I don't really care what it is. Just do it for yourself, and that'll help you at least get through it, okay? Okay, everyone, I think that's everything I have for you today. Hopefully you could take at least one tip and use it towards reaching your real estate goals. If you like this video, click the like button and subscribe and hit the bell. That way you get notifications to anything I post. I hope to post once every week since I have new starting out. Lastly, if you're interested in any of my social media accounts, my link tree is in my bio, so go ahead and give it a click, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.